Greed will always lead to downfall. Once upon a time, in a peaceful village nestled amidst lush green hills, there lived a cunning and greedy merchant named Amos. He was known far and wide for his insatiable desire for wealth and power. Amos was always on the lookout for opportunities to exploit others for his own benefit, caring little for the consequences of his actions. One day, a rumor spread throughout the village about a mystical treasure hidden deep within a treacherous cave at the edge of the forest. It was said that this treasure possessed magical powers, capable of fulfilling any desire one could ever have. Greed consumed Amos upon hearing this news, and he could think of nothing else but claiming the treasure for himself. Driven by his insatiable lust for wealth, Amos embarked on a perilous journey towards the cave, ignoring the warnings of the villagers who advised him against his reckless pursuit. Undeterred, he ventured into the darkness, guided only by the flickering light of his torch. After hours of navigating through narrow passages and treacherous traps, Amos finally stumbled upon the chamber that held the coveted treasure. His heart filled with a mixture of excitement and greed as he beheld the piles of gold, jewels, and ancient artifacts that lay before him. However, in the midst of his triumph, a soft, yet authoritative voice echoed through the chamber. "Seeker of wealth, know this, the treasure you covet is not meant for the likes of you. It can only bring destruction to those consumed by greed. Leave now, or face the consequences." Amos, blinded by his avarice, dismissed the warning as mere superstition. He scoffed at the idea that a treasure could bring harm and resolved to seize it all for himself. He hastily gathered as much wealth as he could carry, ignoring the throbbing ache in his conscience. As Amos made his way out of the cave, his steps grew heavier and the air turned stifling. Suddenly, the ground beneath him trembled, and the entrance to the cave collapsed, sealing him inside. Panic coursed through his veins as he realized he had fallen victim to the curse of the treasure. Days turned into weeks, and Amos was trapped in the dark confines of the cave, with no hope of escape. The walls seemed to close in on him, and his treasures transformed into nothing more than burdensome reminders of his greed. Overwhelmed by guilt and regret, Amos finally understood the consequences of his actions. Alone and broken, Amos' mind became consumed with the realization that his insatiable greed had led to his downfall. He had sacrificed everything, his relationships, his humanity, for material wealth, only to end up trapped and tormented by his own desires. It was a bitter lesson learned too late. Meanwhile, in the village, the people mourned the loss of Amos, though they could not forget his insatiable greed. They passed down the story of the treasure and Amos' tragic fate from one generation to the next as a cautionary tale, a reminder that greed, if left unchecked, could only bring ruin and despair. And so, the village learned to cherish the simple joys of life, valuing love, kindness, and contentment above material possessions. They embraced the wisdom that true wealth lies not in what one possesses, but in the richness of their heart. The story of Amos serves as a reminder to us all that greed, no matter how enticing it may seem, will always lead to downfall. Let it be a lesson etched in our hearts, guiding us towards a path of humility, compassion, and fulfillment.